Okay. Name's Michael Harvey. I don't really know where to start. When I was 11 years old is when I first started doing opiates. And then I started abusing those, and then abusing Adderall and barbiturates and benzodiazepines and basically anything I could get my hands on. And I didn't really let my friends know. When I got to college is when I started doing heroin pretty regularly. Started doing heroin and dabbled in more amphetamines as well, and used them at the same time. And for a while everything worked. It worked pretty well. It was the solution basically to my problems. Everything kind of went haywire. Within 3 months, I was in the hospital 3 times. 2012, I ran from my parents called the cops on me because I barricaded myself in my room. I was on just about everything you could be on. I ran from the police. They were trying to find me, so they had their canine unit, and then I was begging them to shoot me because I wanted to die. My life got pretty crappy. I was super depressed, super anxious, was afraid to leave the house. Would only leave if I could get drugs. My parents had to call the cops on me one more time. They said I needed to come out to Utah to go to treatment. And originally I hated it. I hated every part of it. I did not like treatment. Thought it was the most stressful thing. I was super depressed. They do psych testing when you get there, and I was in the 98th percentile in anxiety and the 99th percentile in depression. I really wanted to die for a long time. I moved out with a friend, and we had an apartment, and I still was super depressed. My parents still didn't really want to talk to me all that much because I wasn't really doing anything. I had a crappy job, still didn't like Utah, didn't like my life, and then it sounded like a good idea to start using heroin and crack again. It got really bad. I was using more than I probably ever had in the past, and started to not care if I lived or died. You know, it was almost maybe part of the goal was to just not wake up. And finally failed a drug test. And so my parents found out, and they told me, my parents said, either you go back to treatment or like we're completely done with you. I told them to go screw off. Called my dealer, went and picked up a lot, and then went to my apartment, told my roommate that I was getting high and that she shouldn't come home. And literally I was at a choice where I could either use until I died, I could have shot myself, or I could go back to treatment. And I don't know, I guess something happened where I was finally desperate enough to do something different. I was gonna die, and for some reason I didn't want to. And things got really good. I got into school at the U, started actually liking class, going to class. My parents actually don't mind when I call them, because I don't call them asking for anything. I just call them to see how they're doing. Finally got to go home for Thanksgiving, which was huge because I really wanted to go home. I got to see my nephew, which was huge. And so that was really awesome. Being able to go home and see my nephew for the first time was really awesome. And that's kind of was the best part of was getting sober again, was finally having my family back in my life. You know, now I talk to my parents about just stupid stuff, things that I'm doing, things that they're doing. I get to be a part of that, and never thought I would be there again. I thought they would kind of always be done with me, because I put them through a lot of pain, like a lot of pain. But yeah, for some reason I guess they don't mind me anymore. They allow me to be a part of their lives, which is really awesome. When you're as depressed as I was, it doesn't get much worse. And so by being of service to other people, by doing what's suggested of me, that kind of makes your life easier.